A short while ago, the IDF identified Hezbollah terrorist organization preparing to fire missiles, rockets towards Israeli territory. In a self-defense act to remove these threats, the IDF is striking terror targets in Lebanon from which Hezbollah was planning to launch their attacks on Israeli civilians.
So, Cam, rhetoric from both sides of the border appear to indicate that this is an escalation of the conflict in the Middle East, but things were strangely quiet after those hundreds of rockets were reportedly fired from both Israel and Lebanon on the weekend. So, is this an escalation?
Well, it's interesting. It's an escalation certainly in the very short term, but I think in the longer term, it probably isn't. Now, of course, things are very fluid. Anything can change. But interestingly, this barrage of rockets fired, firstly by Israel against Hezbollah as a preemptive strike because Israel said that Hezbollah was about to attack Israel, which Hezbollah subsequently did, all occurred within a 24-hour period. And it seemed as if this was going to escalate the conflict. However, Hezbollah then abruptly stopped its bombardment and said, that's all for now. And Israel, interestingly, didn't go any further than just striking several Hezbollah targets in southern Lebanon. In other words, Israel didn't have a big, heavy blanket response. And Hezbollah's attack was not a huge attack either. So I think if you read between the lines, even though there was a lot of literally smoke and bombardment on both sides, I think what we're seeing here is a desire by both Hezbollah and Israel to limit the conflict to some degree.
You've written for the paper that the events of the weekend weren't necessarily enough to tip this conflict into a region-wide war. Are we seeing a crystallisation of Israel's strategy here? Is this 10-month assault of Gaza a warning to the rest of the region?
Well, Israel certainly has been very muscular in its response to any threats. Obviously, in Gaza, it's obviously hurt its international reputation by the heaviness of the response in Gaza. It certainly responded very vigorously to previous attacks by Hezbollah and by Iran's proxies in the region as well. But I think Israel does not want to have a full-scale conflict with Hezbollah. Hezbollah is the best armed terror force in the region. If it really wanted to attack Israel, especially civilian centres, it could do horrific damage to Israel. But Israel doesn't want Hezbollah to keep throwing the odd missile over into Israel because what's happened is Israel has had to basically abandon villages in northern Israel. There's tens of thousands of people there, Christian, who can't go back to their homes. And so this is a real problem for Israel. How does it deal with these low-level attacks by Hezbollah without creating a bigger war? And on Hezbollah's side, they pledged to attack Israel a few weeks ago in retaliation for the assassination of their military commander by Israel in Beirut. So Hezbollah was saying, we will attack Israel, and Israel did not know how that attack would come about and how large it would be. And so in a way, this attack allows Hezbollah to, if you like, save face, to say, look, we've attacked Israel, whereas in fact the attack caused almost no damage to Israel, but it does allow Hezbollah to save face. So that's why I think Hezbollah might be quite satisfied with this outcome, because it looks like it's being hairy-chested about its threats, but in fact it's actually done so in a way that doesn't appear to have infuriated Israel.